Hey everyone, this is Lawyer Up Season 2. It is a game by Mike Gnade and Samuel Bailey. I received this as a review copy from Rock Manor Games. I like a lot of their games. I had played Season 1 before. I enjoyed it, and that's why I reached out, because I knew I was going to like this game probably. I did like it. I'd like it even better. I think it's pretty cool. I did have a couple little small issues with the game, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's take a look at how to play, and then I'll tell you what I think about the game and my final thoughts. So I wanted to show you a few things about what the box looks like and what comes inside the box, and then we'll kind of set it up a little bit and go through. First of all, it is big enough to store everything for Season 1 and Season 2 in here. So if you have Season 1, no worries, you can fit it right in here. There's lots of storage in here. There's this nice storage area where your little dials here that show your influence go on top of there. There's one for the prosecution and one for the defense. And again, you would kind of get some duplicate components if you have played Season 1, but that's just the nature of it because it is standalone. You have some nice dividers. There's some different ways to play with base bias objections and overruled objections and things like that. There's dividers for defense and prosecution for your base decks, which I have pulled out here. And then you have your different cases. So I have mine case 4, case 5, case 6 over here. Case 6 is what they recommend to start with. And that one is a celebrity divorce that's going on. And you use some of the different cards based on what you pick. And so that can change the setup a little bit. There is your strategies. You'll have a strategy card, and after you do that, that'll tell you how to set up. You have solo content, and there's a nice deck there for it. It is a full solo deck. There is stuff for the previous cases, the cases that came in Season 1, so that you can play solo 2. You have some different judges here who would stand out in front of you, so you put a judge out, and then you call some different witnesses here. So let's say I have case 4. I'm not going to completely set it up, but I'll show you some of the setup here. The defense gets these investigation tokens for case 4. Each case is a little bit different. There's going to be jurors, and I will kind of set up a little bit. Like I said, I'm not going to do a complete setup, but as you can, there's a lot to it. So you have investigation tokens. You put your jurors out here, and you have 5 jurors that are biased towards the defense, and 6 that are biased towards the defense, and 5 that are biased towards the prosecution in the beginning. And after you get them set up, then you have witnesses that you call. So let's say we're on case 4 here. Like I said, we would have the judge out here, and we can call depending on which conspiracy card we have here. So we'd have one of these, prosecution over here, defense over here, and then here's our reference for the prosecution. And then we would have some of these witnesses. I'm not going to call them all, but then you do this thing where you're drafting cards back and forth, because you take all the cards for both sides. This one also has this case also has these allies. Allies end up being used. And look, there's Mike Gnade and Z Garcia and other people. So here with these allies, they're going to be used in the case depending on how you set up and what goes along in the case. You have some patsies in this case, and you have co-conspirators that are for the prosecution. And for the defense, you have these defendants. So you set up some of those up here. So maybe you have, this is just an example, I'm not actually going to set up, but you would have these different people that you call on each side. And maybe over here, the defendant is Veronica Neptune, without giving anything else away. So with that setup, you're then able to take the neutral deck and the prosecution and defense deck, you mix them together, and then you draft cards where one is out of the game, one is drafted to your side, one is given to the other side. And with all that, you also have these cards which are about the kind of clue, because you have culprit cards, you have crime scene, and you have a murder weapon. And with these cards, if you are the defense, you can use these as an alternate win condition in this case. So all three of the cases play differently. This is a lot different than the normal one. You're going to be swinging these biases differently. So like I said, one side will be set up more towards the prosecution, one side will be more set up towards the defense. And as you swing these, if the prosecution can never get them all on their side, they just automatically win. Or if you get to the end of the case and it's more on the defense side, you win. So with that, you also have this alternate win condition of solving the case and providing an alibi for your defendant here. Some nice wooden tokens. These are things that let you draw more cards. Basically, this is you get the judge on your side, and it might be hard to see, but this shows that currently it's on the prosecution side. You just flip it over, and then it's on the defense side. That's how the judges go. Nice wooden tokens, some dice, some other ways that you can play the game. I'm not going to go over all the rules, but now you can see some of the basics of what's going on in the game. I might do a solo play later on, just so you can see some more. But basically, as you call a witness, let's say we called, so we'll get all this out of the way. Let's say we called this witness here, Dorothy Lupino. So if we called Dorothy Lupino, then the prosecution call, the prosecution would get 2 influence. So we would set our influence dial to 2, and the other side, the defense, would get 3. And with that, you start playing different cards until you pass. If you pass, then you're out. You have to match the symbols on the side here. I'll just show that real quick. You have to match those symbols on the side here. So maybe out of my hand, I could play this one that matched this symbol's, the scale symbol there. As long as I played that, I could put that, and that would swing the influence that I have 5 my way. You can't object. If you object, you simply use one of your objection tokens, and that card is removed along with any influence it would have garnered you. Go back and forth until somebody wins the witness. Once you win the witness, then you get any text here at the bottom, as well as any text at the top of your, like if it said victory or defeat. If you won, you get the victory. If you're defeated, then you get the text for the defeat card, and that might be another reason to play some cards too. After all that, here's what I think of the game. I think that it is a great follow-up to the first one. I like the cases in this one better. I enjoyed the first one, but the cases in here are even more interesting. There's even more different ways to play. There's some variations that are included in here. I like the wood bits in the game. I like how you're constantly doing this tug of war thing in the game. I like all of that as you try to match up the symbols. That's all familiar from the first game. They just did a better job in this version, which is nice to see. It's not as if they did it as an expansion. You can fit the first game all inside here. So you have season 1 and season 2 that would fit all inside here nicely if you have both, which is nice to see, but you don't need season 1. So the fact that this is a standalone, but it complements the first one nicely and it builds on what the first one did, I like all of that about it. Really, the things that I don't like are the solo isn't quite as robust as maybe I would like. It's a little bit programmed, which is fine. I just like the game better as a 2-player game. It's very obvious that it was designed as a 2-player game. I like how it plays best in that way. So just be aware of that. If you play the solo, it's there. It's just not as good as I personally would like. It has a little bit of that program nature to it that you can anticipate and respond and get ready in a way that is almost too straightforward, if that makes sense. But it's not bad. It's just not quite the way I would like it. Not quite as challenging as I would like it, maybe. Although, if you don't get the right draw, it can be challenging too. So all those, I think those are minor things. Overall, I can recommend this game. I think it's pretty good. I like so much about it. Rock Manor Games has done a great job. So Samuel Bailey and Mike Gnade's Lawyer Up Season 2, I can highly recommend. Let me know what you think. Happy gaming, and I'll catch you later.